Okay, we're going to look at the bearing drawing, which is number 9 in the packet. First, you have to figure out your height, width, and depth. Now, this one's a little bit trickier just because it doesn't give you the overall height, width, or depth. You have to do some math in order to figure it out. For instance, our width, it only tells us that it's 3 inches here. We know the height is 1 5/16 from the bottom to the middle. Our front view is missing, so we have to do a little bit of math to figure that out. What's going to be very important is this radius dimension. This is 1 inch. This radius dimension is also 1 inch. So that means that the distance from the center of this circle to the top is 1 inch. From the center here to the side is 1 inch. From the center here out this way is 1 inch. So from the center here down is 1 inch. From the center here up is 1 inch. From the center out is 1 inch. So again, that's a 1 inch radius. Remember, a diameter is all the way across. A radius is half. So knowing that this is a 1 inch radius, and I know that it's 3 inches from here to here, I just add 1 inch on each side. So I have 1 inch there, 1 inch there. So I have 5. My height, I'm going to add 1 inch to 1 5/16. And my depth is going to be 1 inch up, and then another 1 inch. So my depth is this distance, which is going to be 2. So again, you got to figure out your height, width, and depth dimensions, do a little bit of math, and add in the 1 inch radius. Once you figure out that, the setup is really no different than our other 3 view drawings. So right now I started with my L shape. I'm going to use my offset tool. I'm going to start with the width, which is 5. I'm going to go 5 to the right. I'm going to offset. I'm going to go up 1.3125. But actually, that's going to be, and I need to add the 1 inch radius. So if you look at the measurement here, 1 5/16 is 1.3125. Then you add the 1 inch radius. So it's going to be 2.3125. And then I'll go up. I'm still going to set up my 1 inch spacing. 1 inch to the right, 1 inch up. Where those 1 inch lines intersect at that upper right corner of the square right here, that's where I'm drawing my 45-degree projection line. And the last measurement I need is depth, which is front to back. And that's going to be 2. Offset 2. Now we have the 3 boxes set up for height, width, and depth. Double check that they're correct. So this should be good. 5 inches. That should be 2 inches. Or 2.3125 is correct. This one should be 2 inches from here to here. So I think we're good to go. I'm going to hatch in my 1 inch space just to help me visualize the spacing for a little bit. And there we go. So 5 by 2 5/16. This is going to be 2 by 2 5/16. And this is going to be 5 by 2. So again, height, width, and depth, very important. Now I can start doing kind of like the insides. Maybe I'll start with this 1/2 inch base. You'll notice that it's kind of like a T shape, an upside down T shape. And the thickness of this base is a 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to offset up a 1/2 inch from the bottom. Now I have the bottom part of it. So I can maybe switch to visible layer really quick. And I'm going to use my rectangle tool to draw a rectangle right there. And also I'll need a rectangle right here as well. So that's going to be my 1/2 inch base. I also, again, know that from the bottom here up is 1 5/16. So that's 1.3125. Now I have the center point of these circles. So I can draw in my 1 inch radius. And also the small circle in the middle is a diameter of 0.75. And I found that out by looking right here. It says 3/4 drill 3 holes. That means these 3 holes are 3/4 of an inch or 0.75 diameter is drill. And I did the 1 inch radius. I'll have to trim off the bottom half of this circle though. So TR, enter. I'm going to keep the 2 purple construction lines on each side. Hit enter. And I can get rid of the bottom half of that circle. Maybe the top view, I can go up and There's a couple different ways I could do the top view. I could go, I could draw a line, or I could draw the same rectangle. And, I'm not quite, I'll have to trim some of that. And then I can go this way. I can go over 1 inch. Same thing on this side. I could go over 1 inch. That's going to get me the center point for the top view now. So I have my radius, 1 inch radius, and then I have my diameter of 0.75. I can redo that on the other side, or I can use my copy tool. I can select both circles, click my copy tool or CO enter. My base point's going to be the center point here. And I'm going to copy it to the end of this line right here, which I drew over 1 inch from the side. And same thing, I can do a trim now, keep this, enter, get rid of these two sides. Now I'll also have to do another trim, and I'll have to keep the circles that I drew and get rid of these corners. Because remember, I used that rectangle tool to draw the big rectangle. Another thing I'll need to get in is in the middle here, there's a 3/4 inch space. That's the part that sticks up. So I have this 3/4 inch part that sticks up. So what I could do with that is I could find my midpoint. So I go right in the middle. So I know that's at the middle. If this is 3/4 thick, half of 3/4 is 3/8. So what I could do is offset 3/8. If I offset 3/8, I can click this line now and go to the right and go to the left. So now I have 3/4 of space. Now to do the front view, watch this. I'm going to take a construction line. I'm actually going to bring that down because it's going to be like an upside down T shape. That's where that part will come in. And I can, again, use my visible line and just trace over this. Or a rectangle, or trace over the lines. I'll have to trim out this part here because it's all connected. It's all one surface. If you look at it closely, it's all one open T space there. And then finally, I'll have to do some hidden lines. I can clean this up a little bit too. I'll have to delete these. For the hidden lines, I'm going to switch to hidden layer. I need to bring down the left edge of this hole and the right edge of the hole. Same thing here. I need to bring the left edge of the hole and the right edge of the hole. If I don't bring these hidden lines down, I would have no idea looking at this part that there's holes in there. And when I trim it, I'm going to keep the top, enter, get rid of this, and then get rid of that. Same thing, I need to bring hidden lines over from this right side view, over, and from this right side view again over for the top and bottom of this hole. And I'll trim, keep this, and get rid of that. The last thing would be I can get rid of this line. There's going to be hidden lines right here in this base, right? I have the two hidden lines on the bottom here. So I actually need to project this one over and down. Over to where it hits the 45, and then I go down. And those will be my hidden lines in the right side view. Get rid of this, and actually now I can just delete these two lines. And then finally, there'll be a hidden line in the upright. So the upright has a hidden line, that 1/2 inch hole. So I need to put hidden lines right in here. And I could actually just bring this circle over, the top of it, and the bottom of it. Even though that's technically not the right circle, it's this one that should go up and over. They're all a 1/2 inch. So it would work out that way. And I can get rid of this. If I turn off my construction lines, I can kind of see what I got. It looks like I need to just connect a line in the right side view. From here going down, and here going down. So that completes the part. At this point, I would want to go into my center layer, annotate tab, and put my center marks on. 2 there, and then 1 there. And then I can also use the center line tool for the hidden lines. Now right here it's jumping around them, so I'm going to turn my snap off so I can click my 2 hidden lines. And then center line tool again. If you hit enter, it'll remember. And then finally here. The last thing you can do is if you click on the center line and just drag it out a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left, you'll get the center mark in the middle. These ones need to be dragged a little bit up and a little bit down. Same thing with this one, a little bit up and a little bit down. Finally, I would be ready to go back to the home, switch to my dimension layer, and I can start putting my dimensions on there. In the next video, I will show you how to complete the isometric drawing for this.